What is important for kids to learn is that no matter how much money they have, earn, win, or inherit, they will need to know how to spend it, how to save it, and how to give it to others in need. This is what handling money is about, and this is the reason why we give kids an allowance. Barbara Coloroso said that.
Hi, my name is Symphony, and you're listening to Parenting Confident Kids with your host and my mommy, Tamika Anderson.
Welcome back to Parenting Confident Kids podcast, your guide to raising your children to be happy and excel in life. Think of this podcast as a guide to use from time to time whenever you need some encouragement on this path of parenting. Are you ready? Okay, grab the kiddos and let's learn how to parent confident kids. Okay, so in this episode, we're going to be discussing allowance. Are we ready? The question: do you give your child allowance for chores? So I wanted to ask this question because I saw something on social media, and they were discussing giving children allowances. And the question was, do you give allowance for chores? Yes or no? All right, so I wanted to discuss that today and see where you stand on that. And I'll also tell you where I stand on it, okay? So I wanted to, first of all, give the definition of allowance. So Webster's definition says for allowance means the amount of something that is permitted, especially within a set of regulations or for a specified purpose. So the reason why I wanted to talk about that is because I want to tell you a really quick, fun story on my stance and why my stance is the way it is. So my stance is this: I do not give allowance for chores. Now let me explain why. So when I was in foster care, I guess that's one of the requirements, that they have to give us an allowance for chores or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, that was something that was given to us, was, allowance. So every week we knew that we got allowance or whatever. So I'm just expecting this money, and I did what I had to do around the house, and I knew I was going to be getting my allowance. So I wanted to make sure that, it was good. It was right. However, I grow up and I'm getting older, and, I age out of the foster care system. I become an adult. So now I have my own place. And guess what did not happen? I did not get an allowance for cleaning my house. As a matter of fact, I didn't even clean it because I'm just like, nobody gave me an allowance. I did not realize that's what I associated keeping my house clean was for an allowance. I didn't realize that's what I was doing until I was in the situation as an adult. Like, well, nobody's giving me anything, so I'm just not gonna do it. Then when I realized, like, okay, I can't be a slob, I got to do better about this. Then I thought about it. I was like, wait a minute. I don't want my children to find out the hard way. That first of all, when you become an adult, okay, unless you become a housekeeper, no one is going to pay you for cleaning the house. Okay. So don't associate cleaning the house, doing your chores, with getting an allowance. So I didn't want that to be associated with an allowance for my children. So that's the reason why I don't give an allowance for doing chores. Now, Dave Ramsey, I know you probably heard of him. He talks a lot about, money and teaching children about money. And he said although he doesn't give an allowance for doing chores, he gives commission for doing chores. To me, that's the same thing. You're paying them to help out around the house. And to me, that's just not a good idea. Because at the end of the day, if we're all in this together, if we're a family, the house needs to be kept, right? In a good working order. So you don't want them to think that, oh, well, if you don't pay me, then I'm just not going to do it. No, I don't do that. So that's my stance on it. I do not give allowance for chores. So I would love to hear from you guys on what you think about that. What is your thought about it? Do you give allowance for chores? Yes or no? Shoot me an email. Let me know. parentingconfidentkids@gmail.com. I want to hear it. So now, here are 3 reasons why. Of course, I love the number 3. Of course, I had to talk about 3. Yes, that's what we're doing. 3 reasons why I chose not to give an allowance for doing chores. The first reason, allowance should be set for teaching about money. Now, notice I said I don't give an allowance for doing chores. However, I do give an allowance to teach about money. Now, what I will do is I will pay my children to work for me in my business as if they were in my employee, which they really are. So, but they will, work, they will earn that. They will say, hey, Mom, you have something you need me to do? And then we'll wager a price. But anyway, we're not talking about that right now. Number 1, I'm talking about allowance should be set for teaching about money. That is exactly what I give allowance for. Teaching about money. I want to teach my children how to handle money. So that's when I'll give an allowance and I'll say, hey, listen, this is your allowance because in the world, you cannot do anything without money. So I have to teach you how to handle it. So that's the first reason why I don't give allowance for chores. I give allowance for teaching about money. Number 2, second reason, I do not agree with paying for completing chores. Like I just explained to you, I don't agree with paying for completing chores. The reason why is because the chores need to be done whether you get paid or not. This is our house. We have to take care of our house. So yeah, just got to do it, right? And the third reason is because I agree with paying for results. Okay, so being an entrepreneur, it forced me to produce results. If I don't produce results for my clients, I don't get paid, right? If I don't create value in the world, I don't get paid. So that is kind of the motto and attitude that I want to help instill in my children. The attitude of being paid for results, the entrepreneurial attitude, right? So that's what I want to instill in my children is the entrepreneurial attitude and way. So those 3 reasons are the reasons why I do not give an allowance for completing chores. So the first one, allowance should be set for teaching about money. Second one, I do not agree with paying for completing chores. And the third one, I do agree for paying for results. Like, if they do something that are not chores, right? So let's just say they did something for you specifically as a parent. You can pay them for results. Do that. That's good. That lets them know, hey, I'm working for this. Teaching them work ethics, right? So shoot me an email, parentingconfidentkids@gmail.com. I want to hear your stance on this. Where do you stand on do I give allowance for chores or don't I? All right. Well, what time is it? Kids Corner. All right, so now we have Nadia, age
8.
Okay, Nadia, the first question you chose is, at what age is a person an adult?
Let me think. An adult might be, I'm guessing 29.
And why?
Because all of my cousins, they're not adults yet, and they're only 25. And they say it's 4 more years until they're an adult.
Okay, great. Next question you chose is, if you could change one rule in your family, what would you change?
The rule about us don't spend the night at each other's houses for a week.
Okay. And the next question, what is something that makes your family special?
Because when I do something and it's great for me, they do the same thing.
And the last question, how would the world be different if animals could talk?
Well, people would pretty much treat animals like humans.
That's so true. Well, thank you so much for the interview, Nadia.
You're welcome.
Bye.
That's all the time for now. Thanks for listening to Parenting Confident Kids, where you learn how to engage your children, empower them, and help them to excel. It would be awesome if you could take a quick moment to leave a review on iTunes. If you'd like your child featured on Kids Corner or have any questions you would like answered on the show, please visit us at www.parentingconfidentkids.com. See you next time.